Australian Army deploys first AS9 Huntsman Howitzers for protected mobile 155mm firepower. The Australian Army has fielded its first operational battery of AS9 Huntsman 155mm self-propelled howitzers with 106 battery in Townsville, giving the 3rd Brigade a protected artillery force able to fire and rapidly relocate. The deployment marks a major shift from M777A2 towed guns toward heavier, mobile firepower designed to survive counter-battery threats and operate alongside Australia's expanding armoured forces. 106 Battery, 4th Regiment, Royal Australian Artillery, is receiving 6 AS9 Huntsman Howitzers supported by 3 AS-10 armoured ammunition resupply vehicles, establishing the first complete Huntsman battery within the 3rd Brigade. The regiment's remaining 2 batteries are expected to adopt the same structure by the end of 2027 as Army transitions its Townsville artillery force from 4 M777A2 guns per battery to 6 AS9s. The next phase will move crews beyond individual qualification toward unit and brigade level employment, including tactical movement, ammunition resupply, maintenance, and recovery of the roughly 48-ton tracked howitzers. Australian crews completed their first AS9 operator training and live fire activity at Puckapunyal in May 2026 before returning to their regiment to develop procedures and collective proficiency. The arrival changes the artillery model previously used by the 4th Regiment, which has been mainly structured around the M777A2 155mm towed howitzer. The M777A2 remains lighter and can be deployed by air in situations where strategic mobility is a priority, but bringing it into action relies more heavily on manual procedures and exposes crews to a greater degree during deployment, ammunition resupply, and displacement. With the AS9, the regiment is moving to a protected, mobile, and digitized platform able to operate directly alongside the mechanized elements of the 3rd Brigade. The Australian Army first communicated on the introduction of the Huntsman into the 4th Regiment and the training of its initial crews before the information was reported by several specialized media outlets. The Australian Department of Defence had already confirmed on June 4, 2026, that 30 gunners from the regiment had completed a 6-week AS9 training course at Puckapunyal, including the first live fire activity conducted with vehicles built in Geelong. At the time, the Army described the system as intended to provide mobile and protected indirect fire while reducing exposure to counter-battery fire. The program dates back to Land 8116 Phase 1 protected mobile fires. The Australian government announced its intention to reintroduce a self-propelled artillery capability in May 2019 before awarding the contract to Hanwha Defence Australia on December 13, 2021. The acquisition covers 30 AS9 Huntsman self-propelled howitzers and 15 AS-10 armoured ammunition resupply vehicles. The initial contract value was approximately $1.017 billion Australian dollars, while defence budget documents now place approved expenditure for Land 8116 at around $1.326 billion Australian dollars. 2 AS9s and 1 AS-10 from the initial batch were built in South Korea, with the remaining vehicles assembled at the Hanwha Armored Vehicle Center of Excellence near Geelong. The AS-9 is derived from the South Korean K9 Thunder, but incorporates several modifications for Australian requirements. It is equipped with a 155mm 52 caliber gun and carries 48 projectiles. The platform can fire 3 rounds in approximately 15 seconds and sustain a rate of 6 to 8 rounds per minute during intensive firing sequences. The K9 baseline has a reference effective range of around 40 kilometers with conventional extended range ammunition, although the actual engagement envelope depends on the projectile and propellant charge used. Its semi-automatic loading system also reduces crew workload and allows fire missions to be conducted in faster succession. The AS-10 completes the system by providing ammunition resupply without requiring crews to remain exposed for extended periods. Derived from the South Korean K-10, it can carry up to 104 projectiles and uses a conveyor system linking the 2 vehicles directly. According to the Australian Army, an AS-9 can therefore be fully resupplied in around 20 minutes. The Australian variant also incorporates increased internal height, updated fire control systems, additional storage space, and air conditioning adapted to local operating conditions. Trials have also covered the integration of Australian 155mm ammunition and its compatibility with the Advanced Field Artillery Tactical Data System used to calculate and coordinate fire missions. The operational contribution goes beyond range or rate of fire. An AS9 on the move can halt and be ready to fire in under a minute, or in around 30 seconds when already stationary. After firing its final round, it can leave the position immediately. Against an opponent equipped with artillery locating radars, reconnaissance drones, and loitering munitions, shortening the detection, firing, and displacement cycle directly affects survivability. Armor also protects the 5-person crew from fragmentation and some ballistic threats, while the AS-10 allows ammunition supply to continue under protection. Compared with the M777A2, Australia therefore gains greater tactical mobility, improved crew protection, a higher volume of fire, and the ability to keep pace with mechanized formations rather than operating from more static firing positions. The change comes as Canberra concentrates more heavy capabilities in northern Australia and adapts the Army for high-intensity operations in the Indo-Pacific. The AS9 does not turn Australian artillery into a strategic strike capability, a role increasingly associated with longer-range systems such as HIMARS, but it strengthens artillery at brigade and divisional level by providing more mobile and better protected 155mm fires. It also places Australia within a broader international community of K9 users that includes several European and Asian partners, while developing a domestic industrial base around Geelong. For Canberra, the effect is twofold: a field artillery capability better suited to surviving in a contested environment, and a national industrial capacity able to produce, sustain, and potentially upgrade an important component of land combat power.